Good morning. It is Monday, July 22nd, 2024. I am so relieved. I got my MRI done on Friday. I don't have the results yet. The focus of the results of an MRI will primarily be what was the size of my mass, Fabrica, that I have named her Fabrica. What was the size of the mass in January versus what is the size of the mass on Friday when I got the scan? I was so grateful. Friday there was this like big internet out or software outage. It did not affect my hospital. I live in British Columbia and there's forest fires, and none of the forest fires affected, like I just would have been. When you spend 5 weeks waiting, between getting the email, and I got a hard copy in the mail as well saying, here's your appointment for July 19th, and then the wait. Every week it's like, 3 more weeks till the scan, 2 more weeks till the scan, 1 more week till the scan. Even though every day I'm sitting in gratitude and I'm thinking positive thoughts and I'm going about my life and I'm making to-do lists of all the things I need to get done today, and I'm checking them off and I'm just living my life, knowing that scan is coming up is just a constant. It's just there. I forget about it for a little while and all of a sudden, scan on Friday. Forget about it for a little while, scan on Friday. That's just the way my brain works. That's not a personal choice to have it pop into my head. It just does. But I still live my life. I still function. I still do all the things, but it's there. And now that the scan is done, it's now, are the results back yet? And of course, it's Monday. Last time it took 11 days to get the results. And I've had a few experiences now where the doctor says, this is what I see on the scan. And then I read the scan and it sounds different than what the doctor said. And I don't know if that's because I'm just not hearing her correctly, or I'm not listening, or I'm stressed. And like, for example, the scan shows the mass in January. The one in my left breast was 1.9 centimeters and there's 2 other measurements. And like when I'm reading the scan, I just see 1.9 and skip right over to the next one. And then they found in the right breast a 0.5 and I just skip right over. So, I mean, that's the funny thing about getting results is you just, like I say, you hear certain things and then there's just like I heard somebody on a YouTube video describe it as like that Charlie Brown. You really just don't hear it. So here we go. 1.9 by 1.2 by 0.8 centimeter oval shaped, mildly T2 hyperintense mass. Now, sadly, mildly T2 hyperintensity can be an indicator of malignancy, which is why they don't just ignore it. They sent me for the ultrasound, then they sent me ultimately for the biopsy. And then the other one is, see, this is what's funny is I never really read all the measurements. The one in the right breast is 0.5 by 0.3 by 0.6. That's actually the third number is actually the bigger number. And I didn't even read the third number until right this second on this video. And then the biopsy says a definite correlate of a mass lesion is not seen. And when my doctor phoned, and I thought she was scolding me for not putting the marker in, and now we'll never know if you got the right spot. I didn't know what she meant until I got the report myself. So the whole point is, I could care less when the doctor calls. I need to see the report myself. You know what's really interesting is I know in the States they have something called My Chart. I believe it's called, and they get the results before the doctor. But in British Columbia, they put it on the computer, and then I teach online, and I'm able to post something, but then put a date when it's actually available for public viewing, public being, the students signed into the course. And that's what British Columbia does. It's My Health Portal, and they put a date that's 5 days after the radiologist looks at it, but they send it to the doctor in that 5-day period. So usually, my experience has been that the doctor has the report, the doctor's office calls and books a phone appointment, the doctor and I talk, and then I get to see the results myself after that. And like I say, what the doctor says, I need to see the report myself. I need to read the report myself. So I will be glad in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Last time it was 11 days. Actually, I think it was 11 days I talked to the doctor. 10 days, and I talked to the doctor, and on day 11 since the scan. Of course, weekends don't count, and it's a countdown after the, who knows how long it takes the radiology to get to your report, and then 5 business days after that, and whatever. Last time it was day 10, I talked to the doctor. Day 11, I got to see the report myself. So that won't be less likely to be this week at all. More likely to be sometime next week. I've got my cat locked out of the office because she's destructive in the office. Knocking stuff over. I used to be able to share my office space with her, but now my puppy, Ripley, wants to go outside. So here you go, Ripley. There she goes. And there's the destructive kitty. There she is. Which has to be locked out of the office. So the MRI went really well. And I'm happy to say it was relaxing, but interestingly, and this is something here, let me grab my Harry Potter book 7. In Harry Potter book 7, there's a scene where Ron, Harry, and Hermione go to see Luna Lovegood's dad, and they're upstairs, and downstairs the bad guys come and they perform a hominem revelio spell, and they feel it wash over them, which of course hominem revelio is, body reveal, and somehow they're, revealed to the bad guys downstairs by this spell. And when I was in the MRI, I felt kind of a hominem revelio spell, and the thing is, they say you don't feel MRIs, but I'm always hypersensitive about people. When people say the norm is nobody feels anything. So then when you say, well, actually I felt something, they say, well, you shouldn't have. Nobody feels anything. Well, I did, and it felt nice. I've been to physiotherapy once in my life, for a couple weeks, when I had a small injury, and they used a TENS machine, and it's I don't know, like I say, last time I felt a little twitchy. That TENS machine targets your muscles and makes them twitch a little bit, and that feeling, that hominem revelio, I could feel it, tingly, very relaxing. It's a lovely feeling. But like I say, I'm hypersensitive to anyone who thinks, oh, you're not supposed to feel anything, so I'm making it up somehow. And that's just my script. Nobody has ever said, we don't believe you. But like I say, I guess in my formative years, maybe people didn't believe my sensitivities. And, it's the same thing. I'm not psychic, but I actually physically felt. And I mean, when you have a magnet, I can feel, because when two magnets oppose each other, I can feel that opposing force right there. That's really cool. And see, that's why it keeps pulling the magnet down, because that opposing force is pushing it down. And so my body might not be a magnet. So it's not like the MRI machine and this is my body, except there's obviously something in my body that does feel that little bit of, and then it's just, it was, anyhow, the MRI, like I said, I enjoyed it. Because it had earplugs, so the noises didn't bother me at all. You know, boom, 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 boom. It was like it being at a rock concert, sort of. The hardest thing on the MRI is you're lying on your chest, and you breathe on your chest, and it's hard not to, because they don't want you to move, but you're breathing, and so you don't want your breaths to move you too much. And then, of course, at the sometime in the first 5 minutes, they actually had to redo something because I twitched. And that's because, like I say, it's like a TENS machine. Not the whole, during the whole MRI, but sometimes, yeah, it felt a little twitchy. So I'm waiting for the results, and I hate waiting, and everybody hates waiting. And we'll see what happens when the results come in.